Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the C.R. Lawrence SRP1VP1N. This is a set of pivot pins for the Prima hinge or hinge system for half-inch glass. So the Prima, we would, or at least I would refer to it as a patch fitting. It's a top and bottom pivot set where you've got glass that's going to sit inside of your hinge or your pivot or your patch fitting. A pivot pin will allow you to set the door so that when it comes to a 0 degree close, it will sit there. They also have a pivot pin that will give you a 5-degree bias. So if you want the door to be able to close and give bias against the, or push against the gasketing that's installed, you would literally need a pivot pin that would be machined in such a way so that the machining on the side is not at a 90-degree angle. And we can kind of demonstrate that by putting my caliper on here. And you can see when I hold my caliper vertical, you know, it's the machining on the side of the pin is clearly something that will allow the bar that works against the pivot pin, which is spring biased, when it makes the door close, because this is not a 90-degree angle to a horizontal, it's going to force bias. The Prima is a set of top and bottom. That's how you would have them installed. And as a result, you would need 2 pivot pins. And these are handed. There is a number 1 and a number 2 because they will certainly have it's really easy when you put a straight edge on them how to see them. You know, they're basically biased against each other like this in an exaggerated sense. They are marked. The number 1 pin is going to be, because these doors are, inherently going to be handed if you are, installing it onto a door that you want to have bias on so that it presses against the weather stripping. That'll be for the left bottom or the right top, meaning the side of the opening that you're working on. The changing of the pivot pin installation instructions, that's a different story altogether. Number 2 is for the right bottom or left top. They're literally, one's for the top on the left, the other is for the bottom on the left, and then you just flip them over if you have the opposite hand. And I have never changed the pivot pin on a Prima hinge, although I've set them on, the other typical C.R. Lawrence, the Geneva hinge, etc. And there is not installation instructions at this time associated with this pivot pin. I'm going to contact the manufacturer and obtain them if they exist and then post them back to the item. This will require a partial disassembly of the hinge, and you'll be able to observe the hinge once you have it in your hand if it is biasing in the proper situation. The reason you'd have a 5-degree is because you literally want the door pressing against your gasketing. You've got a shower application that needs to be sealed up tight, and that's why that pivot pin exists. And other hinges, they're simply reversible, where one side of the unit, because of the design, is straight or 90-degree to horizontal, and then the other side has a 5-degree different preparation on the machining of the pivot pin, so that when you reverse that, you can either have the door biased or just not, is the bottom line. So if we can come up with installation instructions, we'll add them. Let's go over some basic dimensional properties just for the archival purposes. Overall length of the pivot pin, 1.954. 1.954. I'm quite sure this must be made of stainless. I'm going to say that it is stainless steel. The diameter, 0.465. 0.465, the size of what I would imagine to be the base, 0.579 by 0.579. Okay. If you have any questions on the 5-degree pivot pin for the Prima hinge for half-inch class, they have a different hinge and indeed a different pivot pin set for the 1/4-inch class version, or any other C.R. Lawrence product, please feel free to reach out to us. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the C.R. Lawrence products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the C.R. Lawrence SRP1VP1N 5-degree pivot pin or any other C.R. Lawrence product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.